There was once a village called Okuta. The people built a high wall, not against wild beasts or spirits, but against men who had lost every trace of mercy, men who hunted other men for meat. When the wall finally broke, the people of Okuta fled toward Umutu, a village said to be guarded by powerful idols. But idols never protect for free. Their price was blood. A maiden's blood. And this is the story of what happened that night in Okuta village. The night was heavy and thick with silence. The moon hid behind swollen black clouds. On the wall of Okuta village, warriors stood guard with spears tight in their grip, their eyes restless on the tree line. The forest was too quiet. Then a sound came. The drag of chains across stone. A crack split through the wall and from it an eye glowed red, illuminating the darkness. A strange hand pushed through the wall with nails black as coal. The wall groaned and tore apart. And then they came. The hunters were huge, tall and with masked face. The chains were clattering like iron bells. The people screamed. Spears broke, one after the other. Arrows rained down, but the hunters were not hurt, not even a scratch. Their masks glowed faintly in the dark, and their chains wrapped around warriors, snapping bones like dry sticks in the fire. "Run!" Elder Ogbu shouted. His voice was shaky, but it cut through the night. "Run to Umutu village. The idols will protect us." At once, the people fled. They rushed into the forest. Roots tore at their feet. Branches slapped their faces. Mothers held their children so tight, fathers stretched their arms to cover their families. The hunters ran after them. The forest felt alive. Leaves whispered as the people ran. An owl screeched overhead. The smell of wet earth mixed with the smell of blood. Ikem, one of the warriors, turned to look back. And there were the hunters, slipping through the trees, their glowing masks flashing in the dark. A child tripped and fell. One of the hunters bent low, lifted the boy with just one hand. The child screamed once. And that was the last time his voice was heard. Fear broke the hearts of the villagers. They ran faster, but the deeper they went, the darker the forest became. At last, they broke into open ground. Torches burned on tall poles. Drums beat slow, like a heart. Okuta had reached Umutu. The people of Umutu stood waiting. Their faces painted. Their shrine tall, carved with idols whose eyes were filled with ash and fire. The high priest stepped forward, beads clattering on his chest. His voice was low, but it carried. "Our idols will fight for you. But they do not rise for free." The villagers knelt. "What do they ask?" The priest's eyes were cold. "Blood. The blood of a maiden." Fear spread like smoke. Mothers held daughters close. Fathers shook their heads. But the priest pointed to one girl. Ngozi. A 16-year-old maiden. The daughter of Elder Ogbu. Her eyes were wide. Her body shook. She tried to hide behind her father, but the priest's hand was firm. "The idols have chosen." Ogbu wept, but his tears fell on dry ground. Ngozi's hands were tied. She was led to the shrine. The hunters' chains rattled in the distance. They were near. The shrine fire burned deep red, casting long shadows on the ground. Ngozi was laid upon the cold stone. Her voice cracked as she cried, "Papa, don't let them kill me." But Elder Ogbu could not move. His legs shook, yet his body felt carved from stone. His hands reached, but they did not answer him. The priest lifted his knife high. The villagers turned their faces away, eyes squeezed shut. A scream split the night. Blood poured across the stone. The ground shook beneath their feet. Then the idols opened their eyes. Their carved faces split, and from the cracks spilled a burning light. The idols had awoken. At that moment, the hunters broke into the clearing. Chains scraped the earth, their glowing masks flashing through the smoke. The idols rose, tall as trees, their bodies of stone, their eyes burning like fire. They struck. Hunters fell. Chains snapped. Masks cracked beneath heavy fists. But the hunters were many. They leapt and clawed, biting with teeth like beasts. Their chains coiled around the idols, pulling, dragging, fighting to bring them down. The earth split under the weight of their battle. Fire and shadow clashed across the night sky. For a moment, it seemed the idols would win. Skulls crushed beneath their fists. Bodies ground to dust beneath their feet. But then, one idol stumbled. Another cracked apart. The hunters swarmed, countless and unyielding. The priest screamed into the night, his voice sharp with madness. Another maiden. More blood for the gods. The villagers cried and shook their heads. Mothers clutched their daughters. Fathers shouted in despair. But the idols weakened. Their fire dimmed. Their strength faded. For blood was their power. And without it, the gods would fall. Ikem, the warrior, stepped forward and faced the people. If we keep giving them blood, he said, then we are no different from the hunters. His words sank deep. All eyes turned to Elder Ogbu. The old man looked at the stone where his daughter's body had lain. His heart cracked open, but his voice was steady. No more, he whispered. We will not give them more. The idols roared, their fire twisting in anger. Then they turned, not on the hunters, but on the very people who had knelt before them. That night, the hunters and the idols became one thing, enemies. And the villagers of Okuta stood caught in between, with nowhere to run. By dawn, the ground was painted red. The hunters were dead. The idols lay in pieces. And the village was gone. Only a handful lived to crawl through the ashes, Elder Ogbu, broken and bleeding, and Ikem the warrior, his breath heavy with smoke. On the shrine stone, his daughter's blood still glistened. Ogbu lifted his eyes to the shattered idols, then to the cracked masks of the hunters. His voice trembled as he spoke. We built walls. We ran to idols. We gave blood. And still, we were eaten. The forest stood silent. That was the end of Okuta. A village erased in one night, the hunters broken, idols shattered, and its people lost to the earth. No songs were sung for them. No stories were told about the village until now. Only ashes and silence. And in that silence, the name of Okuta was forgotten forever. From that day, the name of Okuta was spoken only in whispers, a warning of what happens when men and gods both turn against you.